The deal of the century is significant because it is the first time that we have seen the true stance of the US towards the Palestine-Israel issue. And it is the first time that we've seen in no uncertain terms exactly what the two-state solution, what the umbrella of the two-state solution means for the Palestine-Israel issue. And that is the unconditional surrender of the Palestinians to Israeli might. The two-state solution is built on the premise that the Palestinians forego their right of return, forego the fact that they were turfed out of their territory in 1947 and 1948, forget the fact that they were driven out and that over the years Israel, the occupying invader, has expanded and taken more of their land. This is what the two-state solution is about. Think about it. One state is essentially occupied land that the Palestinians are unable to retrieve, and the other state is essentially where the Palestinians have run away to. And this is why the premise of the two-state solution is not justice. It's not about restoration of rights. And this is why when we look at the deal of the century, when we look at the framework within which Israel operates, when we look at the framework of negotiations from Ronald Reagan to Bush Sr. to Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, and Donald Trump today, the premise is always the same. How to recognize occupied land that was seized from the Palestinians within a legal framework. The two-state solution is essentially saying to the Palestinians, you are too weak to get your land back, you have no strength, we're not interested in giving your rights back, and this is why you have to look at this map, look at this piece of paper, and say exactly how much you're willing to give up. Israel understands that the premise of the two-state solution is not justice, is not restoration of rights, and this is why it keeps expanding. This is why the settlements keep expanding. Because it knows that each deal that comes out, each settlement that comes out of Washington, and with the latest one being this deal of the century, will recognize the status quo, not justice, will recognize power, not rights. And this is why the deal of the century is so significant, because it is the most blatant form of this policy that has been dominant in American approach to Israel and Palestine issue. And this is why when we see today, now they will be relying on Mohammed bin Salman or Mohammed bin Zayed and Sisi. They will be relying on these Arabs to pressure the Palestinians to accept that humiliation, to accept that unconditional surrender, to accept this piecemeal state that is being offered to them. The Palestinians will refuse, there is no doubt about that. And the inadvertent effect of this deal of the century will be that those yesterday who were getting tired of the conflict will now lose hope in the US as a broker of peace. They will lose hope in the two-state solution, and they will be left with one choice only, and that is to return to the ranks of armed resistance until the international community decides which is better, to recognize injustice and oppression and find a legal framework to recognize it, or take genuine steps under international law and the right of self-defense to restore the rights of the oppressed.